Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. This is Dan again, and I'm sitting in a Starbucks coffee shop. You've heard of that, right? Been working on this watercolor, and I'm down to watercolor sketch. When I use the word watercolor sketch, that means I can do a number of things that are not technically approved of in the hardcore world of watercolor. One of the things is using pen and ink. And I mentioned earlier, if you were watching, that it may come as a surprise to some of you that an artist would do the watercolor first and then come back and do the ink. Now, I'm going to do more watercolor on top of this, but my guess is that most artists, in fact, do the ink first and watercolor second. But my guess also is that many artists like myself actually do what I'm doing, which is color first, lines second. Now, if you've followed me for any length of time at all, and you know that one of my favorite themes, especially in the realm of oil painting, is this concept of making interesting marks. And that concept is at a premium when you're doing something like pen and ink. It is imperative that the marks that you make, the bare naked marks themselves, no matter what it is that you're drawing, that the marks that you make be pleasant marks. Now, describing to someone or explaining to someone or modeling to someone, what doth an interesting mark make? What is it that makes a mark interesting? There's the rub. I do spend quite a bit of time in my art classes trying to define and describe what do I mean by interesting marks. Words like fluid, bold, free, varied, those are all words that might be used to describe interesting marks. I've heard the term a calligraphic hand. That's a good description. And believe it or not, when I heard that term, the first time I heard it, it was being used with contempt by representatives of the art establishment, that is the modern art, quote-unquote modern art world. They were turning up their nose at the notion that human beings should be encouraged to make beautiful marks, because they were against beauty of every kind. But that's where I first heard that term, the calligraphic hand, and interesting that it was at the time being used as a negative moniker. Rather tragic, in my humble opinion. So, as you can see, this adding pen and ink to the painting allows me to slap down a whole lot of realistic detail very quickly, because I'm drawing an outline, right? I think everybody intuitively understands outline drawings. Now I say that, and then I don't know, would primitive tribes, unconnected to any of the developments of Western civilization, or Eastern civilization, would they recognize outline? And my guess is yes, they would. But anyway, I digress again. All the people that hate digressions have long since stopped watching my YouTube videos. I suspect that is true. The guy just can't stay on topic, man. He just goes all over the place. I can't stand it. Well, if you see any of those people, give them my apologies. Anyway, starting to look like a coffee shop, eh? Let me make sure these lines are actually vertical. I think they are. Evidently, I have a hard time maintaining vertical lines. Very strange. You'd think I'd be good at that, but evidently I'm not. Okay, up here. Various kinds of coffee shop products, bags of beans, and things like that. Again, I don't want to make the mistake of filling up the entire image with drawing. It'd be too much information. But I say that, and then I continue to draw, don't I? Now, here's a question, and maybe, yeah, do I want to do any cross-hatching? Do I want to do any texture shading with the pen and ink? And my guess is that I do, but I'm not sure where, and I don't want to go nuts with it. Yeah. Yeah. Sort of a hint of shading, a hint of cross-hatching, but really more, it doesn't actually darken the area so much as give the connotation or the idea of darkening. And it gives me an excuse for just introducing some very fluid texture. Excuse me. Sneeze on camera, folks. What can you do? You gotta love live broadcasting. Woo, and then sniffles on top of that. Okay, then maybe just a little bit of this kind of like a wood grain texture. And same thing over here. I feel like that's enough. A little bit of shading on the side of this woman. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll pause there. Let me tell you where I'm going next. I've got at least 2 more steps. One is, this is all a little bit too cool and pastel. So I'm going to do some warm washes of some kind over much of this, probably big brush kind of stuff. Warm yellow, warm orange, warm yellow, orange, over much of that to warm it up. And then maybe the very last thing that I'm going to do is take a Mr. Magic Eraser, Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and go in and lighten a few areas with fuzzy areas of light. And then the very last thing I'll do will be probably come back and do just a few touches of opaque white. Okay, so probably 3 stages to go. Yeah, the next one I'm going to do on Facebook. So if you want to watch the next episode, please go over to Facebook /Dan the Art Man. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it.